Have you ever been scared to do something or worried about what other people might think? Have you ever felt that you don't belong somewhere? Have you ever felt that crippling uncertainty that prevents you from moving forward? All of this fear and uncertainty is killing your success. I'm going to show you exactly how you can break free and get the confidence that you need to embrace your success. Welcome to Mission Underground. Step number one, take action immediately. If you fear something or you don't want to do something, don't delay it or put it off. Just do it. So, for example, I recently had to do a video interview and I kept on delaying it and delaying it. And that just made it actually even worse and made me less likely to actually do it, less confident. So, what you have to do is you have to understand that the longer you delay, the greater the fear that you'll have, the greater the uncertainty that you'll have. So, if you try and do things immediately, that reduces the uncertainty, that eliminates the fear and the uncertainty that you're experiencing, and it makes sure that you experience the most high level of confidence that you can so that you get the best possible outcome. The second thing is to take advantage of all the opportunities that you receive. If you don't take the chances that you get, you will miss all of them. You miss 100% of shots that you don't take. So every opportunity that you're presented with in your life, you should try and take advantage of it. That's why I always try to look at different opportunities outside of school and try and get involved with a lot of things because it helps you broaden your horizons. It helps you gain new experiences. It helps you improve your existing skills. Because if you don't branch out from what you're comfortable with, if you don't branch out from what you know, if you don't embrace that uncertainty, then you won't develop as a person and you won't move forward in your life. So it's really essential that you try and branch out, try and access opportunities and take advantage of them. Because if you miss out on these opportunities, or you don't seek out these opportunities, you'll remain in the same place. And that leads to stagnation. And stagnation is the enemy of progress. So that is what you need to try and do. You have to embrace discomfort to embrace success. They go hand in hand. That's why networking and communication is such a key skill in the modern day, especially amidst the AI revolution. And especially after the impacts of COVID, I think COVID actually had a really negative impact on the ability of people to communicate and the connections of people in their communities. So, amidst these realities, it means that now more than ever, people are looking for successful communicators and competent and confident articulation of ideas. And there's such a dearth of that talent, especially because of the impact that COVID had, being shut off from communication. And that's had such a damaging effect on young people. And it's really important that we help reverse that effect by encouraging people to embrace discomfort, by encouraging them to branch out. Because if they don't try to embrace these different experiences, try and communicate with new people, try and network, try and go to events and things, then they'll remain stuck in the same place. So we have to, as a society, try to provide these opportunities to more and more people. And the big problem is there is a level of inequality even within this, because the people at the highest levels of society, the people who have inherent privilege or wealth, are more able to access these opportunities and are more confident because of the education they receive, especially if they're private school. You can just tell the difference when you're talking to someone who's been to a private school. Even if they don't tell you, it's very easy for you to tell that they do that. So we have to try and close this gap by providing people with opportunity and making sure that they have the mindset to actually take advantage of those opportunities. So networking, communication, that is going to be really important skills to develop if you want to attain success in this new modern technological age. But something that's a really positive development is that in recent years, we've seen these new platforms coming out being developed that are providing opportunities to all levels of young people to access opportunities, to branch out and to grow. There's so many different platforms that provide these opportunities. There's some for apprenticeships, there's some for specific different sectors. So you should try and explore these different things so that you can take advantage and maximize the access you have towards people. Because in the end, what determines your success isn't just your personal skills. It is also how well you interact with the world around you and the resources and challenges that are on offer around you. So once you understand those, you have access to those, then you can leverage the resources you have and the people you have access to try and advance your personal ideas and your ambitions. But an issue that often arises as a consequence of this is imposter syndrome. There are people from lower income backgrounds or people who aren't used to being in these uncomfortable situations feel like they don't belong there. So what you have to do with that is double down even further. Double down even further. Don't try to dilute your own identity because that is the source of your confidence. If you feel confident with your own identity, then that will be outwardly expressed as well. So, what you have to do is double down on who you are and the ideas that you have. Use your natural voice. Often, when people do interviews and things, they try and memorize set answers, they try and use what's already worked for other people. But what's worked for others doesn't work for you. That's not always a guarantee. So you can use that in your wider life as well. Like, for example, a lot of people always try to memorize answers for lots of things like tests and exams, interviews. This is a common source of using other people's ideas. And now with AI, people often just use that. I always think that using your original voice, your original ideas, and your original values and beliefs is far more valuable to others and far more valuable to yourself. It also shows more of the real you and who you really are. So if an organization or a role matches with your values, then you'll get it. And it's better for you and it's better for them. So use your authentic voice to try and attain success. Don't try to fabricate a personality that gets you success temporarily, but it doesn't provide you contentment in the long term. This next point isn't something that works for everyone, but if you struggle with consistency and trying to maintain something which is difficult for you, this can be really helpful. When you're planning to do something which you're uncertain about or you feel like not very confident about, you should tell all your friends about it or use social media to make people aware of what you're doing. This creates a sense of accountability and it forces you to take action, prevents that debilitating and crippling uncertainty, and it actually allows you to move forward. It prevents you from trying to dither and delay because when you know that other people's views of you are on the line, when other people's perceptions are on the line, it actually pushes you to take action because that social instinct of acceptance is activated within you and you're always trying to attain that acceptance. And anything that jeopardizes it is something that needs to be removed from your path. So it will really push you towards actually taking that first step if it is something that's difficult for you. So that's something that can be really helpful. That's why people often engage in like WhatsApp communities and Discord servers and things that hold them accountable for studying and things like that. It's the same situation with this as well. So it's something that can help you move forward and prevent uncertainty from obstructing your success. The next thing is a sort of dictum that I've developed through my experiences. Regret is always worse than embarrassment. As someone who's experienced both things, and I'm sure all of you have as well, you can always get over the embarrassment of a certain situation because embarrassment is a feeling that's temporary, but regret, that's a feeling that's permanent. You will be poring over the memories that are in your mind and you'll like dredge up something that you regret from years ago and you'll still feel that within you. But you won't remember those embarrassing little moments because it's not just you that doesn't remember those, it's other people that doesn't remember those as well. And that also makes your brain and your personality think that that situation was irrelevant. But any regret that you might have, you will still pour over it in the future because if you ever experience difficulty, then you'll be like, if only I did this, if only I did that. That's why it's so important to take advantage of the opportunities that you get, take advantage of the chances that life gives you. You know, people say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's the same situation here. You should try to take advantage of the opportunities that life is providing you so that you can move forward in life, not just stay stagnating in the same place. That's why people who focus on short term embarrassment, short term popularity, short term friendships, those aren't real friendships. That's not real connection. You have to focus more on the bigger picture, the wider goal, the higher purpose. That is what defines who's successful in this world. If you have a higher purpose, if you have a transcendent level of understanding that pushes you forward, that drives you forward, you're far more likely to attain success when you have that intrinsic motivation, when you have that innate feeling that nothing can stop you because you know in your mind that fear is false. You know in your mind that regret is the feeling that you must avoid at all costs, even if it is the cost of your personal reputation in the short term, because the wider goal is what matters most. Look back at your past in the future. You will look back probably with a sense of horror at the opportunities that you missed, at the chances that you failed to take. But if you did the opposite, when you're on the pedestal of success, everyone else will look to you and wonder what they did wrong. That is why short term embarrassment is actually a source of long term integrity, and reputational preservation. So if you're really worried about reputation, if you're really worried about the way that others perceive you, think of the bigger picture. Think of the long term. Do you want to be perceived as someone who threw their life away, or someone who attained success at the expense of a lot of sacrifice? Respect will be attained for you in that way. And finally, don't seek to validate your beliefs, your values, and your ambitions with those of others. Look only at your own personal morals and your personal ambitions and beliefs. Don't care about what other people might think of your ambitions and your goals, because they matter to you. And if they matter to you, that means that you will have the drive to actually attain them and to succeed in what you're trying to achieve. You'll never be able to satisfy others. There will always be someone who disapproves of your ambitions. There will always be someone who ridicules you, mocks you, derides you for the way that you are living your life. They don't matter, because in the end, it's your life. It's not their life. And in the end, a lot of the people that you interact with, a lot of the people who know you, you won't remember them in the future, especially if you're young right now. A lot of the people that you talk to now, they might not even be in your life in 10, 20, 30 years' time. Again, it's about looking at the bigger picture. And if you have that big picture understanding of life, it really helps you have a greater level of clarity and purpose and vision. And that allows you to drive forward in life. So it's really important to not be narrow sighted, to not be short sighted in the way that you approach your life. And that's how you look past the short term allure of different desires and different short term gain. So a lot of people engage in frivolities and short term pleasures like drinking and alcohol and drugs, but that has long term damage to people. That's like if you eat unhealthy food, that gives you short term pleasure, but in the long term, it damages your health, it reduces your life expectancy. It's the same. If you give yourself the false blanket of comfort that you're avoiding embarrassment, that's only a short term boost to your confidence. Because in the long term, it reduces the amount of opportunity you have, it reduces your chances of attaining success. The final step to destroying uncertainty is moral ambition. If you have that transcendent level of moral purpose, if you have that deep conviction and belief that what you're doing is for the benefit of society, if what you're doing that what you're doing is for the benefit of the people around you, that will drive you to never abandon what you're doing, because it's deeply difficult to abandon your principles. It's very difficult to do so because such a it has such a high level of importance in our life. The principles and values that we have, the ethics that we abide by are so important to us psychologically. So if you embed those values, those beliefs, and those ethics within the ambitions that you have and within the actions that you take in every aspect of your life, then every aspect of your life will be oriented towards success. Because if you root everything in that wider purpose, if you root what you're doing in the purpose of helping others, in the purpose of morally contributing to the society that you live in, then there will always be someone who is willing to help you. There will always be something that motivates you, because you won't just be chasing your own selfish advancement. You will also be chasing the improvement of the society around you. So that will drive you towards success. That will orient you towards advancement. And that is so important because it gives you that level of contentment and purpose. It's not just the money stacked in your bank account. Also, you'll also feel a sense of contentment and a sense of relief and a sense of comfort. It's quite sad to see that our societies today measure value by your monetary position, your financial status. When you see someone for the first time, what do you ask them to determine their value? What do you ask of them? You ask them what their job is, what they do, what's their title, how much do they earn. You ask them of their social position. Then you look at their material possessions, their car, their house, their other possessions. That's not the way we should measure value. We should instead measure value based on the principle of moral ambition. What do you do for society? What do you do for others? How do you contribute? Not how you advance yourself, but how you advance the society around you. That's how we should determine success. That's how we should reward success based on the incentives in our economy as well. We reward personal gain, we reward personal ambition, we reward individualism, because that is the society that neoliberalism has created. We have created a restricted society which only rewards certain things above others. When care workers are paid less than corporate financial elites, we know that we are having a false and distorted sense of value in society. We put the financial sector on a pedestal. We crown it with all the glories of our world. Yet the smallest little jobs, the smallest little actions that keep our society functioning, cleaners, care workers, all of these people that keep our society running, all of the people at the bedrock of our society, these people are all neglected. And instead, we value the constant financial gain, the exploitative interest economy, exploitative value and surplus value being created out of nothing over the contributions of real people to the real economy, to the real society that actually benefits communities. That is a false and distorted sense of value, and we have allowed this to be created. The way that we have warped our own consciousness to reflect this neoliberal reality is so disastrous and damaging to all the people that are trying to attain their best possible life and to improve themselves and to attain contentment. This is the antithesis of contentment. This is the antithesis of joy. If we are to have fair and equitable societies that embrace justice, that embrace accountability, that embrace collective advancement, not just profits and power and purpose in the hands of an elite few, then we have to recalibrate the way we think about success. We have to recalibrate the way we think about value, because true value lies in how we contribute to the communities that we live in, the societies that we are a part of, and the institutions that make us successful. That is true value. It is so damaging that we have a society and an economy that diverts all talent towards the financial sector to create profits for speculators, to create excess value where there is nothing, to create exploitation throughout the economy, to suppress the voices and the position of the silent majority in favor of a loud minority and a vocal elite that is attempting to elevate their position at the expense of all others. As a lot of stories are. This story of success, this story of personal change and advancement, it all comes back to this very issue of societal and systemic distortions, societal and systemic inequality that embeds poor outcomes for certain groups and success for others. If we truly want success to be evenly distributed, if we truly want opportunity to be evenly provided, then we have to have a society which enables that. We need to stop creating a society where we have a neoliberal paradigm that embraces individualism over collective progress. Collective progress is individual progress. Remember that. So your gain should be everyone's gain. Otherwise, you will be the ultimate loser. This has been Mission Undercovered, and I hope to see you all next time.